Last time on Casino Royale with cheese.
All these people still live in town and never amounted to fucking shit, you know? And
What are you talking about?
Never have. Most of these guys have never been out of town before. And so it's
They don't want to go out of town, Shane.
I guess not, but you know.
They're very happy in West Canaan with their beautiful wife and the 3 shithead kids and doing their factory job. There's people out there who are completely content doing that.
Oh yeah. And go you, but man, there is way more to the world than West Canaan fucking Texas, you know?
Not if it's your whole world.
I guess not. We got football, we got beer brand beer. That's all we need, man. I'll see you at the fucking barbecue on Sunday.
Well, and hot chicks. Like, every chick in town's hot, so you're good.
Oh, yeah. There's no ugly girls. There's never once in this movie do you see, like, a fat girl with glasses. Never happens.
And now, the conclusion.
Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent Green is people!
Yo, Adrian! I did it!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Well, that's cool, baby. I mean, you know how it is. Rockin' and rollin' and whatnot.
Live from our studios in Woburn, Massachusetts, it's Casino Royale with Cheese, starring your host, who has less morals than a personal injury attorney, Shane Burns.
Thank you. This is Shane with Casino Royale with Cheese, the internet show where we discuss movies that were number 1 at the box office exactly 20 years ago, or 20 weeks in one, or 20 years in 1 week, we'll say.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm today joined by my man who has the highest thetan level I've ever seen. This is Mike.
High thetan levels?
Yeah, it's
Is that a
Scientology
Scientology shout out for John Travolta?
Yeah.
Oh.
How's it going, man?
Pretty tired. Per the usual.
Yeah, when we record in person, there's a good chance that Mike's nursing a hangover. So.
Oh, no hangovers. Let's just put this out there for the public. When our ladies get an excuse to party, they party.
Oh, it goes hard. They don't stop.
They do not stop. And last night we celebrated your bride's birthday.
Happy birthday, baby, as if you're listening.
Yeah, she doesn't
You're
listen.
not. But that's okay.
Yeah. It was quite the extravaganza.
Blowout. It was crazy because she was out of town last week for a work thing. She got a new job and same company, new role. Mm-hmm. And so she had to go to St. Louis to train.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Talk about a crazy week, bro.
For you, maybe.
For me, yes.
For her, she
got to chill and eat sushi. And,
yeah.
you know,
She was getting per diem, son.
Right. And that was part of the deal was she was like, man, it's just, you know, this birthday kind of sucks because her birthday was on Thursday, but she didn't come home till Friday. So she's kind of feeling sorry for herself. And I was like, you're drinking beer and eating sushi and chilling at the hotel room by yourself.
With maid service.
Yeah. Like, you better enjoy this shit. Like, that's a pretty bomb-ass birthday to me. You know?
can watch all the porn and flick the bean as much as you want.
Oh, man. There's some bean flicking, you bet. So it looked like Jack and a Beanstalk up there. So. But, yeah, my sister came to help, thanks Deanna, but it still was chaotic at best, so.
Yeah, I'm sure Captain Slow was mighty lost.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. I had to go twice my normal speed, which is like half of a regular speed. So.
Yeah.
I did make my first ever cake.
I saw that.
Yeah.
3-layered
cake, yeah. A little lopsided, but good, so I'll take it.
Did it have coconut flavoring in it?
No.
It's all I could taste.
No, it was red velvet and some of that good old-fashioned cream cheese icing, yeah. I think coconut would have gone well, but coconut's one of those things, you either love it or hate it. I love it, but I could see some people being
A lot of people don't like it.
put out by it, yeah. So, it's whatever. We said last week, we talked about Varsity Blues. Mother Superior jumped the gun on this one a little bit.
Mother Superior, you jumped the gun. Right. Love that song.
It's a good-ass song.
Yeah.
So it's the deal where we actually should have talked about a civil action.
Yes.
And we didn't because I'm an idiot.
We did Varsity Blues.
Yeah. Which, listen to that one if you want to know our opinions. So
But we're going to correct our error this week.
Yeah.
Talk about civil action.
right. No, we'll be in the same spot we should have been in.
Okay.
So, yeah. So just
It all
switch
works out.
Yeah. Have you seen this movie, Mike?
Before?
Yes.
No.
No.
I didn't know it existed.
I mean, I think I vaguely remember seeing a trailer back in the day, and all I could remember from it was these kids throwing those stupid firecrackers and like the river catching on fire, and that's all I remember from it. So, it's not enough to rope me in.
While watching the movie, I was really surprised I hadn't heard about it.
Looking at the cast,
Right.
oh my God.
Like John Travolta, James Gandolfini, William H. Macy, Robert Duvall.
Let's take a look here real quick.
I mean, those are just the ones I can name
You
off the top of
mentioned
my
a
head.
bunch of them, yeah. But
I mentioned the home run hitters.
right. This thing has an insane cast to it. So we got John Travolta, like you said, Robert Duvall, like you said, Tony Shalhoub, who I love. He was Monk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. William H. Macy, boom. We've got John Lithgow.
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Lithgow's in it, yeah.
Kathleen Quinlan, who I'm not all that familiar with her work, but when I was watching this movie, I was like, I know I've seen that one before. She was Jim Lovell's wife on Apollo 13.
Is she the one who works in the office with them all?
No, she was the one who she.
Oh, the complainer.
Yeah,
The complainer.
The
The plaintiff.
Her son died. Jeez, this bitch won't shut up. You know?
No, plaintiff.
Let's see here. I guess Mary Mara is the one that works in the office. Not familiar. Stephen Fry. He's one of the geologists. I've seen him in a ton of stuff.
I know
but
his
it's-
name.
Yeah, I think it's mostly like British TV shows. I remember back in the 90s we watched a lot of shit on like Saturday night, like PBS, like British comedies and things of that nature.
Oh, man, you had a really solid childhood.
Well, it was Mr. Bean and like Keeping Up Appearances and shit like that. I really like that shit.
I know Mr. Bean.
As time goes by,
But
which had
because of his
Judi
movies.
Dench. Oh yeah,
As long as I know Mr. Bean, his movies.
I have the entire box set collection. So
Oh, I could not do that.
Oh, man.
Marathon, Mr. Bean.
well, there's only like 12 episodes total.
Oh, then I could do it.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's really weird the way that England does their TV shows as opposed to the U.S. because in the U.S., dude, it's like the International Space Station. They're like, let's just keep putting shit on there, you know. Hopefully it'll fucking pan out, you know. So we'll run this motherfucker into the dirt until you're tired of seeing it. But it's really weird though because, especially with shit like Mr. Bean, they would do episodes every so often, but it wasn't like a weekly thing. Like every maybe couple 3 months, they'd put it on TV like, hey, there's a new Mr. Bean thing, half hour long coming out, you know.
There's only 4 channels.
Oh yeah, they
Up
BBC 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and I think it was just BBC 1 and 2 for a really long time.
I'm sure they've got other shit.
No, I have 4 channels.
Oh yeah. Mike knows. He spent a lot of time in England.
Yeah. Actually, I've never been there.
Oh shit, exactly. But yeah, so it was kind of like that with the British version of The Office too. In that there were only 2 seasons of that show, and each one had maybe like a dozen or so or less episodes, you know. But it wasn't like a consistent thing. It wasn't like a weekly, like, oh, I'm gonna watch The Office next Thursday. It was like there'll probably be one in maybe like 6 weeks.
See, in the U.S., we like revolve our personal schedules around airing of television shows.
Which is kind of really, I think we're the first generation since TV's come out that hasn't had to do that, you know?
Well, because we have DVR,
We got DVR, we got the Hulu, we got the fucking Fire Stick, you know?
the old Netflix.
Just check it out whenever I want. You know?
Yeah, Netflix, the day the show comes out, you can watch the whole season.
Oh, yeah. For all you young whippersnappers, the whole idea of going through and like, fuck it, I'm not gonna watch it. I'll wait till the season's over and binge watch it was never a thing until within the last couple of years.
If you miss an episode of 90210,
You're
it
fucked
was
up.
just devastating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You'd have to ask your friends the next day for like a detailed synopsis of what happened.
Or else you might as well hang it up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're lost.
That's hilarious. I never thought about it, but it's true though, man. You know.
Oh, dude, I had some shows that like I could not miss.
Yeah.
As early as Alf.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I love Alf.
Like I remember it came on at 8:00 on Monday nights, and that was my bedtime.
Oh, okay.
It was 8:00.
Right.
And I just begged my parents every Monday, and they would pretend like they weren't going to do it. Like let me stay up till 8:30. They always did.
Right. That half hour is a deal breaker there. So.
But they always did. They're like, "Go, you got to clean
Right.
your room first."
But Alf was such a weird idea for a show. It's kind of too bad that it didn't make it any bigger than it did. But the whole idea of this family like housing this alien that ate cats and fucking like they would, you know, there was people trying to fucking discover him and shit. But it's a sitcom at the same time. That's pretty out there, man. So
It was great.
yeah, it's funny. Gordon Shumway.
We're way off track.
Oh yeah. We got Dan Hedaya.
Back to the movie.
Right. Sidney Pollack plays a role in this movie briefly. And that's pretty much it. But
Kathy Bates is in the fucking
Kathy
movie.
Bates has... I was surprised to see her at the very end of this. I was like, would that be considered a cameo?
Yeah, I would think so.
You think so? Because
Yeah.
I heard the voice, but they didn't show like a close-up of her face for a minute. I was like, that sounds just like fucking Kathy Bates. And then sure enough, they like show her. I was like, oh, motherfucker. Okay.
I don't.
Fair enough.
It's hard for me when we're watching these things to like recall their stardom at the time.
Yeah.
Like James Gandolfini. We'll talk about it later throughout the movie, but that motherfucker's a beast.
He's a fucking acting badass, dude.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
yeah.
But like I don't know if he was that star in '98.
See, I don't think that was a thing until, I want to say... Sopranos. Like, he'd been around, but it wasn't, like, he wasn't huge.
When was Sopranos come out? Like 2000, 2001?
I can look it up.
I think it came out around 2000.
Yeah, you're probably right. I know that I've never seen an actual episode of it, so... Oh, no, I have seen one episode, and it came out in 99.
99,
so
that's
it
close.
would have been right around this time that he
Yeah.
was doing Sopranos shit.
I was really close.
Yeah, you were really close. What else was there? I was thinking about it too, with like William H. Macy, because obviously he's gone on to do some great things, but he'd done some shit before this, and we've already seen him in a movie actually with Pleasantville. But I was thinking about it, like how what am I trying to say? He had a role in Fargo, right, with the Coen brothers and all
or
that.
I feel like launched him.
Yeah, I think you're right. He'd done some shit before that, but not real big stuff. But what I was wondering was, why don't the Coen brothers ever use him anymore? Because, you know, they've done other stuff like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, where they reuse like George Clooney and shit like that. But I thought he was great in that movie, and I don't know why he doesn't ever show back up in any of their other shit.
I wouldn't count him out.
Yeah.
He's probably just been counting his
might
paychecks from
reemerge.
Shameless.
Yeah. He's getting paid.
Yeah.
I know. That's like the longest running Showtime show, you know.
Yeah, well, that's coming to an end soon.
It is. I have a strong feeling. You heard? Did I tell you that that Fiona is not coming back?
Yeah, and
Ian.
Ian, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that if they don't end it after this season, then they probably got like one more in the tank, and then it'll be
They'll have to do like a lip spin-off.
I can see that. He's my favorite character anyway, so I'm down.
Well, it's funny that you picked the one guy who's like getting his shit together.
Yeah, I guess that's valid. I don't even know if... I mean, he still does dumb shit, but I think he's the only one that, like, considers, like, the big picture before he does something, you know? So...
Fiona tries.
She tries, but she makes some dumb decisions.
She just loves the D, bro.
She does. She is a deeked. So.
What?
I have no idea. I was trying to freestyle something. It didn't pan out. But
All right, back to the movie.
anyway,
Well, this is why I like the in-person ones better.
Yeah.
Because the sidebars to me are way more fun.
I agree. It's good times. Let's see. So we haven't seen this before. Neither me nor you.
Neither nor.
So it's a fair guess to say that since we already did a week of Varsity Blues, to assume that this only lasted 1 week at the number one spot.
Yeah, we can go ahead and assume that.
It was, however, made on a budget of $75 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they paid out the nose for these
I don't think they
actors.
made their money back.
How much do you want to guess?
60.
You're damn close. $56,709,000.
Yeah.
In the U.S. I don't have the international numbers on it, but that's not real good.
No.
So, it was directed by a fellow named Steven Zalian. And so, check this guy out. He's got some crazy shit going on with him. I've never seen a movie that he directed before this, but I have seen some shit that he's written, and I guarantee you have. Guarantee.
Okay.
He wrote the movie Schindler's List,
Yeah.
Clear and Present Danger,
Okay.
Mission Impossible.
I've seen all three of these so
we've
far.
watched on this show.
Yeah.
Hannibal,
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Gangs of New York.
See, loved it.
There you go. American Gangster,
Loved it.
Brad Pitt's Moneyball,
Loved it.
the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Loved it.
So I'm like, damn, he's a fucking writing fucking badass. Dude.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
Steven Zalian.
I guess I'm a Steven Zalian fan.
I guess so, because looking at it, and this isn't to say that I don't like this movie, but looking at all this shit, this is probably one of the weaker movies he's ever written, like had a writing hand in.
Well, money making wise.
Yeah, it definitely did not rock the box office.
The most surprising in that list to me, just on a personal level, was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
I knew about the movie. It was a book, and then it was a
Right.
movie. I knew about it. Nicole wanted to watch it. So I was thinking I didn't know what I was getting into, but I figured it'd be more of a geared toward women genre.
Not really.
I really enjoyed the film. Like, it's a good movie.
See, I wasn't quite sure where they were going because I know that the book series, and they did, I think it was a Dutch version of like the trilogy of books that had come out.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of fucking hype about it. And so I watched it and I didn't know what to expect. And I walked out of the theater going, that was different, man. It's definitely different, you know?
Different's good.
It is good. Daniel Craig is awesome in that, by the way. And they just did a sequel, I guess.
The girl who kicked the hornet's nest.
The girl in the spider web or some shit. But that's not one of the original books. That was a book that was written after the original author died.
Oh.
Which that's an interesting story too, because that guy apparently that wrote that original trilogy of books, he's I think from Finland or some shit. And what's crazy about him though is if you go through and you listen to the story of that dude, fascinating stuff, man. Because apparently he was a member of like the National Socialist Party in Finland or whatever it was. And like whenever he passed away, they actually like found him on like the steps of his apartment, and he was like shot dead or some shit, like
What?
crazy stuff.
He was assassinated.
Yeah, pretty much. And so it's a fucking weird ordeal, man. If
They
you
need
ever
to
get
make a movie about that.
Yeah, stranger than fiction type shit right there, dude.
Steven Wyszynski.
No, that's just
No, hold on. Give him a shout out. What's his name again?
Steven Zalian.
Yeah, Steven Zalian. Get on it. We need
Right.
a movie on this.
Well, let me look here. See what we got, because I don't remember that dude's name. Oh, not that crap, you stupid piece of junk. I hate looking stuff up when we're live on the air. It was Stieg Larsson. That's the fellow's name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zalian, get on it.
right. He died in 2004, and he was born in Sweden, actually.
Sweden.
But there may not be that much validity to my thing, because it says here he died of a heart attack. So maybe it's not that interesting after all.
Shane Burns.
I'm sorry to disappoint everybody.
Damn you. We'll
But,
stick a pin in that, Zalian.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good story.
Okay, back to the movie.
Okay. I did write a synopsis on this movie.
You know how much I love these.
I do. I'm glad you like it. That's the one thing that I do that you appreciate. So.
About it.
So, one thing about it was this movie was released the same day as Patch Adams. and it opened to number 44 in the box office, which isn't real great, but it was a limited release. So then, like a week later, it got its full release, and then it jumped to number 1, and then died a quick death, apparently. So
Sad.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna read this out, and we're gonna do this. So, A Civil Action, released December 25th, 1998, is the supposed true story of how attorney Jan Schlickman went from owning his own personal men's warehouse to living in a warehouse in the star-studded courtroom drama. After a brief rundown of which clients are most and least desirable from a representation standpoint, Jan Schlickman, a youngish, successful, hotshot, Porsche-driving Boston, Massachusetts attorney, is confronted with a case in the decidedly less ritzy Woburn, Massachusetts, which involves 8 separate instances of local children dying from leukemia, which, as they suspect, was caused by the local water supply being contaminated. Initially deciding the payday wouldn't be nearly as substantial as his regular ambulance-chasing personal injury cases, he initially tells the local parents to suck on it. As he's leaving town, however, he discovers that pollution may indeed be occurring, and the dividends he would receive from Beatrice Foods and W.R. Grace and Company, the owners of the nearby leather tanning company who is suspected to have caused the pollution, are simply too tempting to pass up. The victims' families simply state they would like the water supply cleaned up and a fancy apology to go along with it. The federal class action lawsuit, however, soon becomes a beast that can't be fed, as Jan and his partners find themselves selling off assets and accruing large amounts of debt in an effort to defeat the defense's Schwerer Gustav of an attorney Jerome Thatcher. Various settlement offers are made to Jan and his legal team, one of which for $20 million that Jerome himself offers, but Jan begins to surmise that the case may be about more than just money. Soon after, however, Jan realizes that his practice is going bankrupt, what with the expense of geologists, doctors, chemists, etc., and acquiesces to a settlement of $8 million to the disappointment of the parents of the deceased. His partners are also unhappy and broke, so they decide to give Jan a chance at his very own private practice. So, I hope if I read the word before I actually go into saying it. Sometime later, we see Jan living in a one-bedroom apartment chasing ambulances again, as he is soon able to track down the final key witness in the Woburn case, but is unable to pursue the appeal since he needed to borrow 5 cents before he could rub 2 nickels together. Later we see the EPAs become involved, close down the tannery, and vanquish the evildoers, all while Jan is in bankruptcy court. This film stars every person who's ever been in a movie ever.
Yep.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. So what'd you think about the movie?
It was alright.
I actually thought it was a pretty good flick.
I thought from an acting standpoint, it's pretty top-notch.
All the actors killed it.
Yeah.
So like even John Travolta, who, you know, he's either hot or cold for me in a lot of the movies he's in. I thought he delivered a really good performance.
See, I was going to say, I'll be the first person to tell you, I don't think John Travolta's a very good actor. But I like him more so whenever he's playing a more subdued character like in this, as opposed to him wooing around and shit like he was in Face Off, you know? Just acting crazy and fucking doing everything, like hitting on his fucking stepdaughter, you know, whatever. Like all that shit, you can keep it. But this is actually not bad.
Yeah, I think he did pretty good. The problem with it is he's acting across the screen from Robert Duvall in a good chunk of this movie, and Robert Duvall is incredible.
Both are like competing to steal the fucking show.
Robert Duvall is amazing.
He's a bad motherfucker, dude.
The role he plays in this film is really, really good.
It's intimidating, man.
But he does it so low key. Mm-hmm. Like he never, you know, part of his character is that he carries this old tattered up briefcase around.
Right.
He's a really simple guy. Listens to a transistor radio. You would never know he's this like killer of an attorney, but he is.
The way that they play him up, I really like too. The whole idea that, because whenever you see him, he's very unassuming, and then he just like berates this poor like this guy that works at the law firm, and basically like tells him to fuck off while he's eating his lunch, you know.
But he doesn't say fuck off.
No, he doesn't. He says it in such a way so that this guy's like terrified for his job.
Right.
But he didn't threaten the guy or anything,
right.
You know.
Didn't even raise his voice.
No, not at all. And he goes through at one point, and he calls that one dude Cheese Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the co-counsel or whatever.
Cheeseman.
Yeah. And he just and so like just to the way that he's playing the character, you get a feeling after a while like this dude's pretty fucking shady, you know.
And he's also a law professor.
Yeah.
So there's a scene in there where he's telling you like what to always do and what to never do. He's telling his students this, and while questioning a witness,
Right.
And at the same time, John
Jan-
Travolta's character
yeah.
Jan is questioning a witness and
Doing all the shit.
doing it all wrong.
Right. Yeah. It's weird, and I think part of the thing that I would have liked about this movie that really would have hit it home for me would have been is if the main character, like, there's the whole thing where he finds that last key witness, like, at the end of the movie, and then we see where his character later on in the movie, he's like, look, I don't have any fucking money. He's like writing a letter, basically. Was that to the EPA?
Yeah.
Okay.
He sent all of the files, like
Yeah.
when you see them load all that stuff up in that semi, he sent it all to the EPA.
Right. I personally would have liked to have seen him gone after him himself,
Yeah, but
he couldn't.
yeah.
And so, but to me, from a movie viewer standpoint, that really would have been like him just fucking sticking it to him at the last bit of the movie.
Well, he did still stick it to him.
He did. I would have liked to have seen it in practice.
Back in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a true story.
It is.
I don't know how much the writers took liberties.
Embellished.
Yeah, because like that whole stuff where they're like in the office and the only furniture they have left is a couple boxes, basically.
Right.
I don't know how accurate that is.
Sold off all their paintings and shit.
Right.
And fucking, who was, oh, that's whenever William H. Macy just fucking chewed his ass out. Because they basically were like, at first he was the one that didn't want to take the case. And then he found out who the guys that they, you know, if they won the case, who they'd be getting money from. So he's like, boom, this is our payday. And so then they start like going through, like, it's basically like a losing game of Monopoly from that point forward, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're mortgaging shit and fucking they put their houses out there. This guy's got gold Krugerrands that he's like putting up for collateral with the bank, you know?
Yeah, William H. Macy is the financial advisor for the firm, and he's like losing his fucking mind.
Oh, yeah. Because he's supposed to be managing their money, but they don't have any, you know?
He's just giving it all
keeps
away.
Getting his hands tied, you know?
They spent $3.5 million doing the survey and all that stuff to
Yeah.
find out the levels of contaminants in the soil and all that great stuff.
Just to lose. And I think that's why I would have liked to see Jan come back in the end and just
Well, they didn't
fucking stick it
lose.
to him. They didn't lose, but they lost.
Well, Jan fucked up a lot.
He did.
So
fuck up
one
a lot.
time, the Grace company, who they run, Grace is in charge of some metal plant, and it's part of their subsidiary. It's one of their subsidiaries,
Right.
Like a stamping factory or something. And Grace realized they're fucked because all their employees are squealing.
Right.
So they're ready to settle, and Jan says $25 million, and it looks like the grant people or Grace people are ready to give the $25 million and be done. But then he says he wants another $25 million on top of that,
And another $1.5 million
per year for the next 30 years for each
family that lost a kid. Yeah.
It works out to be like $320 million.
Right.
So
they're like, fuck this.
Yeah, they all walk
We're
out.
Yeah.
And then while there's a portion of the movie where they're waiting to see if it's worth going further and having families testify.
Right.
And Robert Duvall's character, who represents the Beatrice Foods, who their subsidiary is the leather company, he offers $20 million.
Right.
And John Travolta's character Jan rips it
fuck that.
Rips it in half.
Yeah. I would have gone with it, man. You know, I would have. The $25 million, that's fine. I'm good. I didn't do the math to figure out how much that would have come to.
They did in the movie.
Oh, per family?
No, guy just did it, like wrote it all down, like did the math and was like
For the
$320 million.
Well, no, I mean, if they took the $25 million settlement that was initially offered without the $320, you know, counter settlement or whatever, I don't know how much that would have worked out per family.
They probably would have got about $2 million apiece.
That's what I'm thinking. Because, I mean, that's 3 times what they wound up getting, and they still wound up getting, you know, $375,000 per kid, you know.
But that was after, because the attorneys had to compensate for all their expenses.
Right.
So their fees were $2 million. Mm-hmm. The research in it was $3.5 million. So that's $5.5 million out of the $8 million.
Yeah. And so I was wondering on that because I'm like, from a legal standpoint, about as illiterate as anybody could be. And so I was wondering if you can go through, accept a settlement, and then bring it up in an appeal like that. Basically, I would think a settlement's like, yo, they admitted they did some shit. We're good with this compensation. And then can you come back later and be like, wait, no, I'm not good with that anymore. You know, like that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, he said that he was getting it. He was trying to do like an appeal on it.
But because he could still go after Grace. I mean, he could go after Beatrice Foods.
Oh, okay. I got you.
They didn't have the evidence that was thrown out of Beatrice Foods.
Yeah.
Grace made a settlement. So you can't pursue Grace. Mm-hmm. But he ended up sending all the paperwork into the EPA. EPA slammed both Grace and Beatrice Foods with a whole bunch of charges, I guess.
Yeah.
And they agreed to $69.4 million cleanup of the town, which I guess is what the family wanted anyways.
Right. They said that apparently they have the little, postscript or whatever at the end of the movie where they talk about, the various characters and whatnot. And they said it was the biggest cleanup in New England from an environmental standpoint.
Yeah. Probably still ranks number one.
I would venture to guess, yeah. But, it's cool. I guess Jan paid off all his debt according to that. So that made me happy that at least he dug himself out of his hole. So, just to change gears here real quick, is John Travolta gay? It's not like I really care. It's almost like William Shatner's wig. Like, I don't care if you're bald, but if you're bald, just own it,
So the real answer to my question is, I don't know.
I don't know either. I didn't think because he doesn't set off any gaydar or anything for me. I was, watching him dance around with lady folk and, Saturday Night Fever and things like that. I never thought of him as being a homosexual, but there's been a lot of people that have come out and said that he was, though.
Well, there's a lot of claims of sexual assault by two male masseuses and how he was trying to force them to give him hand jobs and shit like that.
That's the move right there.
But we don't know if it's true.
I got a couple of places in town here that'll hook him up if he wants to come to Tulsa. So.
I don't know if John Travolta wants those addresses, but I do.
That's awesome. I wrote down, I used to go to church with a lady. So where I used to go to church, I actually played the drums at the church. And then there was this gal, her husband played the bass with the band at the church.
Oh, slapping the bass.
Slappa the bass, man. Well, apparently she said that she was a bit of a socialite back in the 80s and was hit up with an opportunity to dance with John Travolta at one point. And she said that he is an incredible dancer, as if you couldn't tell. But I don't know the circumstances in which that was facilitated or anything. But it's
cool story, said. Bro.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but
then you found $20.
I go through every week and I make these thumbnails, as we've talked about on for the YouTube videos and whatnot,
and the gram,
and this Instagram, yeah. So I went through. I didn't know what this movie is about, so I couldn't really make fun of the movie. I knew it was a lawyer thing. That's all I knew. So. Anyway, I was like, well, I could just make fun of John Travolta, I guess, in my thumbnail. And so I went through, I looked on Google for weird pictures of John Travolta. I just typed in John Travolta weird.
I'm sure you didn't have to look very far.
If you don't want to sleep ever again, then look that up. Because people do some fucking weird shit with John Travolta's pictures, bro. There's pictures of it's him, but there's bites taken out of his head, and there's him with no eyebrows, and one where his eyes have been scooped out and shit.
What?
So I'm gonna turn the internet off on my phone, I think.
These are all done by fans?
I guess somebody that's
trolls or something.
Just obsessed with John Travolta, man.
Jesus.
I don't know. It was fucking weird, dude. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of my first 30 seconds of the movie, if you don't mind. Because keep in mind, the credits hadn't rolled up until this point. And so I'm sitting here, I'm listening to John Travolta. I'm like, don't care. William H. Macy. It was pretty much exactly how it went. And it went on like that for a while. For somebody that really likes a lot of these actors, it was like fucking Christmas. Because I'm sitting there, Tony Shalhoub, James Gandolfini, John Lithgow. It just went on and on in the credits. My eyes were about dilated as big as saucers. I was really pleased with the cast for this thing. Let's see.
Why a Christmas release?
It doesn't seem very Christmassy. I guess one part of the movie takes place at Christmas. It looked like.
Does it?
Well, it showed in their office, and like there were lights up, and that was like it.
Was there a Christmas tree in the office?
I think there might have been. Yeah. I don't know. So I wrote down his closet was bigger than my house.
Oh yeah,
That was a badass closet, dude.
his men's warehouse closet.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was at a store, and then I realized he's at a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's just walking around. And it was weird because, like, the closet is, like, this own... It's not like something behind a door or anything. You just walk into a part of his house, and you're fucking surrounded by neckties and shit, you know? It's
Yeah,
nice.
he was one of Boston's most 10 eligible bachelors.
Mm-hmm. I also thought that it was funny. It worked out. It was a pretty funny little sight gag the first time whenever he was speeding. And then it cuts from him speeding to getting a ticket. I laughed out loud at that. And then whenever he's headed back from the town, it showed it happen again. I thought that was really funny for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, it just made me chuckle, man. I don't know what it was.
I think that shows his arrogance.
Yeah. Well, he's supposed to represent the law. He doesn't really even give a fuck about the speed limit, you know? He is an arrogant motherfucker at the beginning of this movie.
Yes.
The whole opening bit for this movie, he's just talking about, you know, hey, here's the clientele that I'm looking for. He goes, you know, white people are going to pay out more than black people. They're going to pay out more than Asian people. He goes, kids, not so much. He goes,
Men more than women.
right. He said, your ideal pick is a guy that's just like entering his prime.
A 40-year-old white male.
Right. That isn't dead.
He's at his highest earning potential.
Yes. And now he's been disabled.
Yes.
But he said the worst one is a dead kid.
Yeah, kids don't pay.
That's not going to pay anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I called that portion the value of life. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really good.
Putting a dollar sign on it.
Yeah. Because it turns out a 40-year-old white male who's injured is worth about $2 million.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. 1998's $2 million.
Right.
Which would be like $1 trillion nowadays.
$1 trillion.
1/6 of the debt. So there you go. I wrote down. So watching this movie, I thought it was really crazy, man. Just sitting back and thinking about these people that got all these chemicals in their drinking water and all this other shit. And what I thought was crazy about it was it made me start thinking about like all the chemicals. And me and you have discussed it before. But basically, anytime you drink or eat anything other than like water or like fish, like you're basically, and probably even fish, you know, you're just taking in who knows what fucking chemicals, you know.
What's the problem? You really don't know.
telling. Yeah. Even the water, if you drink water out of the tap, there is no telling what's in that shit. you
Well,
know?
there's fluoride in there.
Right.
There's definitely there's what is Xanax? What is that? What kind of medicine is that?
Is it a what is it, like bipolar or anxiety
No, it's
medicine?
anxiety med, but there's a name for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyways, there's the chemicals that are found in that are in the water supply.
Oh.
The chemicals that are found in like Wellbutrin and Paxil are found in the water supply.
Really?
Because they aren't processed through the bladder and you piss it out. And that it re-enters the water supply and they don't get filtered out.
Huh.
So, like, as more prescriptions go up, the more of those, they're trace elements, trace
Yeah.
amounts, but this is still in the water supply.
Right.
As far as your food goes, you are eating whatever those farmers fed
Yeah.
those animals.
Or whatever, like a fish was swimming, you know, off the ocean and there was an oil spill or something,
Right.
That's
So
it.
the old phrase, you are what you eat,
Right.
rings
It really
very
is.
true.
Well, it's crazy, I guess, because people talk about like grass-fed beef, you know, or
Sure.
whatever. And I didn't realize until recently how the whole like corn-fed beef thing came about, because they say that corn-fed beef is supposed to be like not good for you at all.
What's fattier?
Right. And because obviously there's all the carbohydrates in the corn and all that shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess apparently it was in World War II. They were just going on this mass like corn growing spree, you know, for the war effort and whatnot. And then the war ended and they were like, fuck, now we're sitting on all this fucking corn. And so that's when they decided, well, let's just feed it to the cows. And then they were like, this is actually a way more efficient way of providing food for the cattle than having them go out and eat grass.
Well, they don't have to walk around.
Right.
We can just shuttle the corn right into their faces.
Condense it down into. We can house about 800 cows in a room this size.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Pretty crazy, man. It is.
Pretty gross. But I'm not gonna lie, the corn-fed cow is mighty tasty.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not gross enough to make me stop eating it or anything.
Oh jeez.
So, what's the cause of leukemia? I don't know, because I hear about...
Did you just ask me what the cause of leukemia is?
I always hear about childhood leukemia, and it seems pretty deadly. But, because there's some cancers you can get, like skin cancer. It might kill you, but you'll be all right. Like breast cancer, take off a boob, you'll be fine, that sort of thing. Prostate cancer, we'll just pull some chunks off of that, you're good to go. But, like, this leukemia thing seems like it's pretty formidable,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want my kid to have any of the things you just named.
Oh yeah, no. She probably won't get prostate cancer, I'm guessing.
Hope not.
Something in the water, if that's the case. You mean my daughter's grown a prostate and it has cancer? That's a problem. But I wrote down that if you're a personal injury lawyer, Boston. That's a place to be right there. I wouldn't want to hang out in Tulsa. I'll say that.
Why?
I mean, Tulsa's so big, and the accidents aren't really that. Like you could walk down the street in Boston, I'm sure, and see like 10 people get hit by a car.
Okay.
In Tulsa, probably not that much. I wouldn't say the chances of you being there and seeing it and be the first one to the scene probably not as good. But that's just what I'm saying.
10 people hit by a car as you walk down the street.
I
saw that movie. It's called Bird Box.
Bird Box. Oh, man, he would have had a heyday in that movie.
Right?
The lady climbs into a car. He's just standing over it. When you're done smoldering, here, take my card,
Not only is Justice blind, but so is John Travolta in Bird Box.
Bird Box. He's walking around with his blindfold, just handing out cards.
He goes into his closet and picks out his tie that he's going to wrap around his eye every day.
Oh, yeah. That's the move.
There you go.
It's legit. I wrote down, if I'm a quadriplegic, I better get a fuckload more than $2 million. Doesn't seem like very much.
I don't know, man. I don't know what the value of any of that stuff is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like to think of myself as being important. Probably not as important as I think.
But he raised the settlement from $1 million to $2 million just by his intro and stuff.
Oh, yeah. He just kept
milking it.
Yeah. And he's like playing it up too at the beginning of the movie, which is great. He's like, hey, are you comfortable? Can you see okay? Are you thirsty? Do you want me to get you some water? And all that other stuff. And this lawyer's like, oh, man, I'm so fucked.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I wrote down that this Jerome fellow, Jerome Thatcher or whatever his name is.
Okay.
Kind of a dick.
Robert Duvall?
Yeah.
Nah. He's doing his job.
He's doing his job, but he's a dick. One thing that really, and this scene actually like shook me down to my core, was the whole scene where the dad's giving his testimony to Jerome.
I knew you were going to say this.
Oh, man. That is some hard shit to watch, dude.
Yeah. For those who haven't seen the movie, basically the dad talks about when his son died. And he called on a Saturday.
He was in remission. His leukemia was going away.
Oh, right. And he called on a Saturday, and they asked him if he said his kid wasn't doing well. They said, does he have a fever? The nurses said, or he told the nurses no. So said, okay, bring him to the clinic on Monday. Well, he died in the car on the way to the clinic.
On Monday.
And he pulled over and was like giving his kid CPR in his lap while his wife was losing her shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, worst thing possible.
Hard to watch, dude. It fucking rocked my shit, man.
Because you're daddy.
I guess so.
No, that is what it is, man.
Like, I can't even imagine, dude.
You're empathizing.
It
hurts.
hard to watch, bro. Yeah. But that's whenever Jerome, granted, he is just doing his job, but he's like, we can't have any of these people go on trial. After I had heard that, if I was Jerome, I'd have been like, I think I'm done with this fucking case, man. This is fucked up. Yeah.
He can't. He represents the
I
company.
know, but I couldn't do it. I don't think after that, man.
You're not what it takes to be an
I guess
attorney.
not, dude. And I'm not even like a super nice guy. I just couldn't, man. What'd you think about the music in this movie? Or did you notice it?
No, I didn't really notice it.
It was done by Danny Elfman. Does that name ring any bells?
Jenna Elfman.
No. But it should. Because he's the one that does all that Tim Burton crap. He did the Batman theme and the Edward Scissorhands and all that shit. He also did the movie Men in Black. And so I was watching this movie and I was thinking, this sounds just like the soundtrack for Men in Black to me. It does not fit at all.
Really?
Yeah.
At least it wasn't bong, bong, bong.
Oh, God. I would love it if fucking
John Carpenter
did the score for this movie. That movie would get a 10 on
I'm half
IMDb.
tempted to like watch every John Carpenter movie just to see if he used that same thing in all of his movies.
Dude, think about it, though. He did the score for Halloween, which is iconic, you know. Granted, it's repetitive, but really good, though, you know.
Yeah.
But I'd be tempted to watch, like, Escape from New York or something like that to see if there's any carryover, you know. I don't know. I haven't watched that in a while anyway. I might check it out. So, the judge is kind of an asshole.
The John Lithgow.
Yeah.
He's great.
He is great. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I wrote this down. So Jerome Thatcher, I wrote down, he's what I hate about lawyers. Because he's not interested. And this is, I think, why I think that the world does need lawyers. And I do think that it is important for people to have fair representation whenever they don't know the law. You know, we need to hit up somebody that obviously has studied this shit and is an expert in this shit.
It's a constitutional right, by the way.
It is, absolutely. And so it's a deal where the whole idea of him going through and objecting to every little fucking bullshit thing just because he doesn't want the other guy to win, that's shit that I fucking hate about the legal system right there. You know?
Well,
I fucking hate it, dude. And it's so irritating to watch in this fucking movie.
in Thatcher's defense, he's not saying it's cool.
No.
He's saying if
not.
you want to win your case, which is what your job is to do, this is
Right.
what you do.
It's just irritating. And it's easy to sit back and say, well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, I mean, it is. So
It is.
But
It's a game.
It's irritating, though. You know, and I think that there's more bullshit, though, that these people are less interested in the truth. You know.
Well, he said once you go to litigation, it's not about the people anymore. Now it's about money.
He did say that. So, I don't know. But,
He buys in.
yeah. I don't know.
Why don't you get a new suitcase? You don't change your socks in the middle of the World Series.
Right. I wrote down Jan turned into Saul Goodman. So if you ever watch Better Call Saul, you'd see what I was talking about. Because he's like practicing law out of this closet that's in like a nail salon.
Oh, right.
Like the back of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking nothing going on legally from that dude, you know, at the beginning of the show anyway.
Yeah, I know in the first episode.
Yeah. I figured out from the beginning of this movie that because they emphasize a lot of water in this movie, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of shots right on a glass of water.
Yeah, glasses of water. And that was something that I was thinking in this movie is that shit's not going to go his way in court. And then you're going to see there's going to be some great grand reveal of like, oh, this is what's going on. But I knew that it was going to be involved with like him looking at a glass of water, you know. And he happens to go into that deli and the kid like spills the water and the guy comes to clean it up and he's like, oh, boom, that's who I need to look for my key witness, you know.
I was thinking of Signs.
Oh, yeah. Swing away, Merle. What a dumb movie. Did you like Signs?
I was kind of, whatever on Signs.
Yeah.
But I did hear new fan theory, which makes it a lot better.
Let's hear it.
So, we all think it's aliens. Like Signs.
Yes.
But it makes no sense that aliens would come to a planet which 3/4 of the planet's surface is covered in water, and that's their only weakness is water. Right?
Yes.
So why would they do it? Well, we never see any advanced technology. We never see any spaceships. We do see some crop circles. So we immediately assume that it's aliens.
Right.
What if they're not aliens? What if they're demons?
Could be.
And they're from the underworld.
Yeah.
And that's why they're susceptible to water. And the reason why the girl knows this is because she has somewhat like been given a vision in order to defeat the demons, and she's putting water all over the house because like holy water.
Pretty big leap.
Yeah, I don't know if it has any basis. M. Night hasn't hit me up and let me know.
Yeah, I'll call him this afternoon.
Speaking of M. Night, I'm excited about Glass.
Yeah, that might be good. I like Split a lot.
Split was great.
Yeah.
And Unbreakable's pretty good.
I'm convinced that without Michael, what's his name? Not Michael Fassbender, the other one that's in Split.
I don't know his name.
Oh, fuck.
Here we go.
Everybody's-
Research.
James something. James McAvoy. That's
okay.
it. So I'm convinced that Split would have fallen on its face hard without that dude being in it, though. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of movies are like that, though.
Yeah. It like hinges on that one actor.
Well, the whole movie's him.
Right. You know?
Of course it hinges on him.
And he can like snip snap into these other like characters. You know,
Yeah,
whatever.
of course it
It's
revolves
pretty
around
cool.
him and it hinges on him.
But if they'd have got like fucking Kevin Sorbo to play that role or something, that movie would have fucking sucked, dude. Hard.
Hey.
You could have the best writing out there, but it still would not have been good. So, but no, he's great, and I am super excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see a Bruce Willis movie that I'm excited about.
Okay.
But didn't you say that you saw that Death Wish movie? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you say not great.
Yeah, wasn't bad, wasn't good.
Yeah.
I find myself watching a lot of those movies lately.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. I wrote down the water catches fire. There's a lot of fucking pollution, dude. If
But,
water is on fire.
okay, I'll give you that.
Right.
But there's still instances where people are lighting their tap water on fire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's all that shit in Michigan or whatever?
The Flint,
Yeah, Flint, Michigan.
there's lead in the water there,
Oh, okay. So it won't catch fire.
which is bad.
Right.
But like, there's pictures you can look it up. People using like a match or a lighter to light their tap water from their sink on fire. So while the water's coming out, there's fire also coming out
Golly.
because of the methane. Fracking, bro.
Holy crap. Yeah. No, it's crazy. I was just watching. Because, I mean, granted, that's where they've been dumping the water, or all their chemicals out and stuff. So it makes sense that they're all centralized into this one spot. The chemicals haven't dissipated. But I was watching a guy. These guys threw a firecracker, like an M80 or whatever, into the water, and it just erupts. And I was like, oh my God. That is a lot. I just, like, laughed when I saw it.
That's what they called the swimming pool.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, they go
man.
dump it in the swimming pool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking, it was crazy to me looking at that fucking thing, man. I don't know. I mean, what else is there to say? You know?
My only question is, at the end of the movie, they get the $69.4 million settlement
Yes.
against the companies, and they have to do a cleanup.
Right.
Did Jan win?
I mean, I guess it depends on what you say call winning, you know, at the end of the day.
Did he win?
The town won. I don't know if...
He represented the town.
I mean, I don't think he's going to get any payout or anything, if
No.
that's what you're
I'm
talking
talking about did he win?
I would say so.
It's definitely a moral victory.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, exactly. But at this point, his character isn't worried so much about money anymore. Because that's all he was at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. When he's in the town at the beginning and he sees that leather truck drive by and it says subsidiary of Beatrice Foods.
Yeah.
And like the fucking, you could see like dollar signs basically pop up above his head.
Yeah, it's
Cha-ching,
ridiculous.
cha-ching, cha-ching. And he goes back gloating to his coworkers like, gold mines.
Right. But basically, as the thing progresses, because he could have easily taken that $25 million, been fine, bankroll, call it good.
Yeah,
And
bought some more ties.
right. And then after that, basically, he's like, no, this is still fucking bullshit, though, you know? And that was the whole deal was, by the end of the movie, all he is a character that has his morals and no money. And so if you're asking if it's a victory, I would say that for him it is, because money's not like his end game anymore. You know?
And the post-scene, what do you call that shit when they write
I
on
just
the
call it the postscript, but...
Okay, so
I
the
have no
postscript
idea.
shit, they put up there that he goes into environmental law.
Yeah.
And he's currently representing a town in New Jersey.
Yeah, like 60 families or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe he found his passion in life, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, so I would be interested. I'm surprised I didn't look into it any further, because that was in 1998. That whole thing in Jersey was, and so I'd be interested to find out what the outcome of that whole situation was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're interested, go look it up and email us. So, but yeah, I don't know. I did think it was funny when William H. Macy was buying those scratchers. The scratch offs.
Trying to just float the company.
Something. Give me something. $8. Fuck it.
When he got the fucking hotel room, he put it on the bank card for Farmers Credit Union of Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some funny shit.
They had nothing money wise. So. But yeah, this movie was fine. I found that it actually had a lot of similarities and parallels to that of Patch Adams, which is kind of weird because they came out the same day in their own way. But the whole idea of this guy doing this, representation that he really, like, money isn't a big objective anymore. Because you've got two major professions that are known for having big payouts, and that's doctors and lawyers. And these are two movies that are unrelated, came out the same day, and both of them are about a guy that he wants to do his thing, but he only wants to do good. He's not worried about the money side of it.
Well, Patch Adams always was like that.
Right.
Whereas Jan, that guy's character,
transitioned over
became that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
You know how many people I meet that are cashiers at like the Dollar Tree that tell me that their one son is an attorney and the other son is a lawyer or a doctor or whatever?
Really?
They're always telling me like these crazy stories about how successful their children are. But you're sitting up here ringing up my fucking toilet paper at the Dollar Tree.
Did that pay for medical school or I don't know. That is weird, man.
I meet a lot of people who also tell me like their dad or their brother or their uncle or cousin was in special forces.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, they weren't.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bullshit there.
There's a lot of bullshit there.
Yeah.
Of the population currently living in this country, 8% have ever served. It's actually a little less than that.
Less than.
Okay. Special forces is a very small percentage of that.
That's probably less than 1%, I would venture to guess.
Of the 8%?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So if the 8%, it represents 100% of the military.
Right.
I would say less than 1% of special forces.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would go with you on that. Right. But I meet them all the time.
Right? Just this one cluster of like 300 dudes all went to go do special forces shit.
Southside Oklahoma City just produces fucking special forces soldiers.
What's crazy is I did 4 years in the Army. I only met one dude ever that did special forces. So, I mean, that's something.
And you were there.
I was in it. I was surrounded by military personnel all the time, So, but yeah. But that's interesting, though. I don't know. You like this movie?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for true stories.
Yeah.
I'm a
sucker for James Gandolfini.
Me too.
Because he was, man, when he got into this movie, because he only has a couple scenes, but it was like a breath of fresh air. It was such a joy to watch him do what he does,
It's so strange for me because with the James Gandolfini stuff, obviously he's Tony Soprano to me.
Yes.
Okay? You never watched The Sopranos, but I watched every episode of it.
Right.
Okay, so he's Tony Soprano. But every time I see another movie that he was in, because I don't think I've ever gone to the movie theaters to see a movie he was in.
No.
Most of the time he's not headlined in the movie. He's a supporting cast member.
A little bit part.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
And every time I see him, I'm like, God damn, that was a bad motherfucking actor right there.
It is, man. And what's weird is, because the Tony Soprano thing, nobody's ever said that like that before, ever, but okay.
Good job, white boy.
Right? Tony Soprano, he has, like, it's such an iconic role, but on the same token, I really don't have a hard time, like, putting that out of my head. And maybe it's because I didn't watch the show.
You didn't watch the show.
Right. But on the same token, I'm totally buying that he's some guy that works at this leather factory, Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm buying it up. Even though his acting style was real similar in a lot of the stuff that he did, like, I was in it,
I mean, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He's sad he's gone.
Right.
But what I was saying was, before
anyway,
you so
I'm sorry.
rudely interrupted me.
I did.
I am a sucker for true stories. I'm a sucker for moral victories. And I'm a sucker for good acting. And when I'm watching a movie like this and I see William H. Macy, Robert Duvall, James Gandolfini, and then sometimes even John Travolta, and it doesn't feel like they're acting, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I agree.
So I like the movie. Is it going to make my top 10? No, but I like the movie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I never heard of it, especially with all the stars in it.
Here's the question. So when we go on like New Year's Eve to do our top 5, do we count this since it had a limited release in 1998, but the wide release was in 1999?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. We'll get it in there.
Yeah, we'll squeeze it in. It may not even make my top 5.
It probably won't.
But yeah.
Preston was talking to me yesterday. He was looking at the number ones from 99, and he's really excited. He's like, you guys have some killer movies coming.
We've got some good ones. There's some dog shit, but we've got some good stuff coming up, too.
Speaking of Preston, by the way, we do know for sure episode 1 is sometime this year.
Yeah.
And Preston will be joining us for that one.
He will.
And I think we got Cook. Didn't you ask him to be part of one for us?
I've got some stuff going with Cook. Cook has voiced a very strong desire to talk about the Lost Boys.
All right.
But I got a surprise for Cook. Because Cook recently went through and said that he will watch any Star Trek movie with us as long as William Shatner is not in it.
Well, we're not doing that in 99.
Oh, we're doing it in 99.
No, we're not.
We're doing it in 99.
You will stop this Star Trek bullshit
I will
now.
not stop it ever.
God damn you.
I would like to get your opinion on this. So my wife thinks that it would be interesting for us to discuss a TV show. Maybe like a TV show instead of a movie. Movies.
A TV show.
Well,
we have a podcast about the number one movie 20 years ago.
And so I was thinking if we had a big long stretch where one movie was just killing it at the box office, we could take maybe like a month aside and pick out it. Obviously, I can't do like Battlestar Galactica because that's one ongoing. Like you have to watch all of that shit to get. You can't watch like season 2, episode 3 of Battlestar Galactica.
I don't know who you would talk to about it.
Not Mike.
No.
But my whole thing is if we went through and did like a Black Mirror where it was unrelated or something like that. So you didn't have to watch all of the
Spotlight episode?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or if there was even an episode, like I know that there was one of like Breaking Bad where it was just about like them trying to get that fly, out of the fucking meth lab. Like, because that one, you don't really have to know too much about what's going on in the show. It's pretty much its own thing. But you can't do like Lost. Because Lost, you have to watch like that whole show,
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about the first episode of it, perhaps. But I would be down for that. What's your opinion?
We'll have to see.
Yeah. If you guys feel strongly about it, then let me know.
Let us know.
Yeah. What did you watch? It sounded like you watched some shit this week.
I did.
Yeah.
I guess I watched way more movies than I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
Or Nicole and I had just been in a movie watching kick lately.
Yeah.
One of the two. I don't know. Last week I said I watched 4 movies. This week I said I did watch 4 movies, and I wrote them down.
Oh, there you go.
So I didn't forget them.
Good man.
Because I had already forgotten them before last night. And when I was putting my notes together for the show today, I was like, I think I put them on my phone, and sure enough, they were there.
Oh, okay.
So this week I watched Rampage.
How was that? I heard it was awful.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's just too bad. I mean, that could be a good video game movie.
I watched Super Troopers 2.
Oh, we started that. Didn't like it.
Didn't hold up. It doesn't compare to the first one.
The first one's dated but good still.
Still great.
Yeah. Whenever Michelle was over here the other night, we went through and watched like the first 15 minutes of it. I was like, I think I'm fucking good, man. So, anyway, you watched what?
A Black Klansman.
What did you think of that?
Spike Lee joint.
Oh, I didn't know that was Spike Lee.
It is.
Ah.
It fucked with me
Yeah.
because it's a true story.
Oh, okay.
And it reminded me how ugly this country's past has been. Mm-hmm. And it really fucked with me.
There's a lot of negativity about what's going on, as far as race relations nowadays. But I'm always of the opinion, like, it's been way worse than this.
No,
in the
it's
past.
better.
Yeah, it's better.
And we're getting better and better and better and better. And I've talked about this so many times, but, I work in these high schools, and these kids do not give a fuck about the color of someone else's skin.
Uh-huh.
They don't. So it's only going to get better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whenever people like me and you die, it probably will be, even better than it is now, So
I don't know. I think we're on the leading edge of the change.
I think so.
Our generation is not running this country yet,
No, it's not.
but it will be soon.
It will be. And I think the baby boomers are admirable. I think they're a great group, and it is sad to see them go, but that will eventually happen. So.
Baby boomers are rotten fucks. They were spoiled by the greatest generation ever.
Right. Well, my dad was a baby boomer, and he's a good guy, and
Your dad's crazy.
he is crazy.
I like your dad, but he's a little nuts.
I think that I'm like a diet version of my dad. Like, if you think that I'm crazy and nerdy and fucking weird or what the fuck ever, dude, my dad he's leading the pack on that deal,
See, like, we brought up parents. Like, my parents I'm a lot like my parents, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't discriminate against sex, skin, color, religion. I don't give a fuck about any of that. If you're a good person, you're a good person.
Yeah.
And I'm like that because my parents raised me that way.
Yeah.
But my parents were real quiet folks.
Yeah.
So they're not out like beating the streets, like trying to make a change or whatever.
Right.
They're just be nice to each other. Like they're real
Yeah.
quiet people. So you get people like me who embody the values my parents bestowed upon me, but
Right.
I'm louder about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like when I hear someone say something derogatory against, let's say, homosexuals,
Yeah.
I'll stop them and ask them
That's
like,
bullshit,
"What are you
dude.
doing?
Yeah. No,
What
I
are you
hear
talking about, dude? This isn't 1978. It's 2019.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
It's legal.
Oh, yeah.
Your opinion don't fucking matter no more,
Right.
dude.
You can be a hater all you want.
Keep it to your fucking self.
But it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, when I hear things like that, like, don't hesitate. I don't give a fuck who it is. I will make my opinion known and let them know that their opinion sucks.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of like you. Well, more like your parents, really, in that, like, I just consider a lot of the time I don't really, like, I'm not gay or, anything like that. I'm a straight, white, middle-aged dude, and so I really don't have a dog in that fight. I will call people out, but I'm not going to go fucking do a
rally.
a rally or a women's march or anything, put on my pink pussy hat or anything like that, Like, I just, I got better shit to do in my time.
I think the hats are cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so watching The Black Klansman, I thought it was a good movie. It's also a true story about a black cop who infiltrates the KKK.
Oh.
So it's really, really interesting.
How does a black dude get in the KKK?
So you want me to tell you anything about this, or do you want to see it on your
I
own?
want to watch it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll let you watch it.
Yeah.
But he happened to be the first black cop in Colorado Springs, Colorado, like ever.
Yeah.
And he's the guy responsible for it. And it's a true story. And at the very beginning, it says, "This joint is a true story. You're about to see some real shit."
Oh,
So he wasn't lying.
fair enough. Yeah.
Crazy story. So I recommend the view of that one. Mm-hmm. We also watched Peppermint.
Never. I think I may have heard of it.
Jennifer Gardner is a badass, avenging the death of her family.
I'm used to her being on Capital One commercials.
Right.
So. I think it's great that she's working again. So go Jennifer Garner.
Yeah. No, she played the role well.
Yeah.
But Jessica Biel would have destroyed it.
Oh yeah, especially after that thing you said you saw her in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica Biel would have killed this movie.
What's I think that Daredevil and that Elektra movie did a number on poor old Jennifer Garner's career, dude. She had a hard time recovering from that shit.
Well, she was married to Ben Affleck for a while.
Yeah, that'll fuck anybody up.
Yeah. Ask J-Lo about it.
Right. She was with Mark Anthony for crying out fucking loud.
Yeah. Now she's getting destroyed by A-Rod.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Still better than Ben Affleck. So
Sometimes I think about what sex between Jennifer Lopez and A-Rod must be like.
I don't know.
Like explosive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, out of control.
You think it's like competitive?
a lot of fluids.
Competitive fucking?
I can see that.
Like trying to see who can fuck who harder?
Everybody wins.
Yeah, they are both winning. That's for sure.
Oh,
That wraps up the movies I watched. Did you watch anything this week?
Yeah. I did pick up, I was watching a little bit of I've seen them all, but Black Mirror I watched earlier this week with my sister over. We actually watched Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, believe it or not. Pretty good one.
Why that one?
She wanted to watch one, and that's one of the better ones in my opinion.
Okay.
So, I do like The Prisoner of Azkaban quite a bit.
I like to watch them all in a row.
Yeah. See, my problem is, though, is I don't like the first two all that much. They're pretty slow and pretty childish.
That's how you build.
That is true. That's how you build. And they do a good job, like, establishing the world in which the movies are set.
The
with those
wizardry
movies.
world?
Yeah. The world of witchcraft and wizardry. But, yeah, so we watched that one pretty randomly. She's read the books and I have not, but it's whatever. We also went through the other day and my daughter was hanging out with us, so we watched Shaun the Sheep. If you haven't seen that, it's great.
What?
It's Shaun the Sheep, dude.
Is great?
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Chicken Run?
Yeah.
And they did the same guys, Aardman Entertainment. They did the Wallace and Gromit TV show. It's like this British claymation, like stop motion TV show.
Yeah, they do this really odd claymation art.
Yeah, but Shaun the Sheep, there's not any dialogue in that movie.
Oh, I don't want to watch that.
But it's all like, them kind of like mumbling to themselves or whatever. But it's all like visual. Like they tell the story really well without any dialogue in it. And there's some sight gags that are hilarious to watch. I was a little bit inebriated.
Where can I?
But still, though, I was sitting there watching it and just cackling.
Where can we find this?
I found it on the Fire Stick. It used to be on Amazon, but I believe it's been removed since then.
Okay.
So, it was on, I think it's done its rounds on like Netflix and Hulu also, but no longer.
Okay.
Last night we were watching White Boy Rick.
I didn't really watch it.
I didn't really watch it either because I was like, you know what?
I want to watch it.
Yeah, it looked really good, and I'm down for Matthew McConaughey. So, but we watched the preview for it with Jared, and then I was like, I would rather like pick a time to watch this when I can focus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not when there's 35 people in your house.
That was a mess, dude. That was
Still kind of
chaotic.
is.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like the Christmas party, Yeah. And we had everybody over for an OU game. It was just like that.
By the way, I love the parties at your house.
Do you?
Yes, way better than my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't have shit to do after the party's over. I go home.
Yeah, that's true. Have fun cleaning the kitchen, you fuck. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Right. See ya. Yeah. No, I got to sleep in this morning. My wife, she had Five Guys or whatever, or Fat Guys burgers. Yeah. I was ready to go, man. It was a good day. So,
Cool.
yeah.
What are we watching next week?
I don't know. You said you had one picked out.
So Varsity Blues was a 2-weeker.
Varsity Blues was a 2-weeker.
And so next week will be the second week of Varsity Blues.
Yes.
So it's my turn to pick.
It is your turn to pick.
So my pick was really easy for me to make this week. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we had a fan request.
We did.
We're going to watch motherfucking Caddyshack.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
As soon as you said we had a fan request movie, I was like, well, there's my movie.
That's the pick.
How can we, the first request, I can't turn the guy down.
Yeah.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are. I don't know if it's somebody we know or just a random person.
Does he have a name?
Yeah. I'll find it real quick.
Or she?
Well, well, that's a good question there. I don't know.
Or him?
Or one of the other shim.
Or it's.
One of them other genders.
Whatever one they want to go by.
Yeah.
You're a fan, you made a request, I like you.
I will respect whatever you want to be called. Resolute Cub.
Resolute Cub.
Yeah.
You requested Caddyshack?
Let me see what kind of if they put up any videos.
Resolute Cub.
Resolute.
While
Cub.
he's researching you, you requested Caddyshack. You're getting Caddyshack.
Yeah.
We deliver here at Casino Royale with cheese.
Yep. That was requested on YouTube.
Odd, like one of the 8 people who watched the YouTube version.
Yeah. Resolute Cub has 11 videos. It looks like he does a bunch of old. He posts one's. There's a playlist he has called "Fuck the World."
Okay.
And there's he put up a couple music videos in it called "Cage the Elephant," "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked," "Primus," "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." There's some stuff with Brenda Lee and like Bernadette Carroll from like old school singers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's one that apparently It's called Rasputin, and it's Vladimir Putin. Love the way you move. Funk overload.
I don't know who you are, Resolute Clip, but I like you.
It's a pretty awesome playlist.
Yeah,
man.
I
I'm
like
down
you, dude.
for it. Yeah. So if you got nothing to do, check out Resolute Cub after you check us out. So
That's awesome.
I bet he has more views than we do on YouTube.
Oh, God.
But so yeah, that's gonna be it right there. But so yeah, Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Great.
Seen it several times.
One of my dad's favorites.
Talk about a star-studded cast.
Before they
it's
were stars,
crazy.
I think.
I think that Bill Murray had done some stuff.
Yeah, he was famous.
Yeah,
Saturday Night
and
Live and
Chevy
everything.
Chase, obviously.
Oh,
Ted
yeah.
Knight, he'd done some stuff. The old dude that he's with the scout, or he's the caddy. He showed up later on Roseanne. Actually, he was Jackie's husband, but I think that was one of his earlier things.
All right, well, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we will. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a good movie,
Cool.
but it's gonna be hard to talk about because it's all just gags.
I'm down.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, if anybody out there, if you're tempted by the fact that we do fulfill requests, you can always request stuff to us at cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from. And you can look at us on Instagram, Casino Royale W Cheese. And make sure you give us a big old thumbs up on the iTunes.
No, the way iTunes works is there's 5 stars.
I have an Android.
You want to click the star furthest to the right.
There you go.
All right, actually, giving us a 5-star rating pumps us and makes us a bigger thing. It's easier to get noticed.
Yeah.
So if you want to take the time, all you gotta do is just touch that star to the far right, hook it up.
The man. What's crazy about it is, so I don't know jack shit about fucking iTunes. And we found out what Michelle's problem was. Hers wasn't working. It was playing at 1.5 times the speed. She was like, your podcasts sound terrible. And so I clicked a button. Good to go.
She's all set.
Yep. You can check us out on Twitter, Casino Royale WCH, and look us up on Facebook at Casino Royale with Cheese. And I think that does it for social media stuff.
That's all I got, man.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. Make sure you get those requests in. And join us next week as we listen to and talk about Caddyshack. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'll be back.